Okay, are you hearing me now?
You're back.
I'm back. Is he okay? It says my connection is unstable, like me, I guess. Um, is Chris Owings making himself harder to keep out of a lineup the way that he's playing right now, and the things you're seeing from the way the body's firing and the way the bat is moving?
He's playing great, which is great. And I think we're going to use all our guys, Thomas. Uh, you'll see Chris bounce around. I think he's ready for that. He wants to play like all players, but I think to get the best out of a number of our guys, we might need to spread the at bats around to keep him fresh. But he's for a guy that might be smaller of stature, he's got some sock, he's got some bat speed. He uses his legs well, both on defense and running the bases. So I'm excited for him to be a healthy player this year and contribute from day one in whatever role that we ask him to do. He'll be ready for that. But it's great to see that he's swinging the bat. He's shown some power this spring. I believe in the spring training at bats, he's hitting over 300. He's playing well. He's playing well.
Where do you feel he would fit best in a lineup when he's in there?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how the other guys are doing. But I think the more guys that you have swinging the bat well, it lengthens the lineup. I mean, you want production from, obviously, eight from the leadoff hitter on down to the eight-hole hitter. So. Again, I think with Chris, it's probably a function of how he's swinging and how the other guys are swinging as well.
This isn't just a Chris question, but right now, looking at it, who is your best two-hole hitter at this point?
Well, it depends on it depends on what your definition of a two-hole hitter is. I think if you look at the lineup, as 1 through 8 is maybe not a linear line, but maybe a circle. You like to have guys that you think are going to be productive, that you want to give those extra at bats to as the game gets into the later innings. And that again that's a function of performance. I think in this day and age, the prototypical two hitter might not be thought of as what it was a generation ago. The game has changed in that regard, but I think that at times Chris could hit at the top of the order, as can a lot of guys. But I'd like to think that we have guys at the top of the order who are on base guys who can show the ability to have an on base percentage that is productive. Whereas via the hit tool and the walk tool, so. Again, we're looking at, if we keep, 12 position players or 13, we want to have as many guys as we can have that ability to get on base, no matter where they hit in the lineup. You got to get on base. When you get on base, it's been proven that you score more runs. But also conversely, if you have a big power hitter who can hit some home runs, who maybe doesn't have a great on base percentage, but consistently slugs the ball from a slugging percentage standpoint, that helps your offense as well.
Okay, yeah, that was what I was wondering about. If you had that slugger up there, if that was another way. Obviously, speed and on base is also a big thing at the two position.
Yeah.
One other question: how did Tyler Kinley look to the critical eye
yesterday? I thought really, really, really good. Again, I thought that 3-pitch mix was solid. Had his velocity, showed a really good changeup yesterday, and a couple really devastating sliders. So, to our critical eye, as coaches, from the bench, he looked outstanding. That was really, really encouraging.
Do you feel that also some of the work that he's done, maybe even the injury being a warning, has that calmed some of the effort level? Did he look?
He looked under control. Only he could answer that as far as the effort level. I think that's unique to the individual who knows exactly the degree of effort they're putting into a pitch. But that's something that I think that he and a lot of other pitchers are constantly trying to work on.
Buddy.
Go to Patrick Saunders. Patrick?
Good morning, buddy.
Morning, Patrick.
Actually, I was going to ask you about Tyler myself, but I will follow up on that. Have you checked in with him today about how he feels a day after pitching in terms of the side and where he is physically? Or
Yes.
have you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's
Where
doing
is it?
he's doing fine. He feels
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Okay. So is that behind him now, or is it still something?
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I don't know whether you've heard me say this before, but I worry about our players, worry about their health all the time. But I feel pretty confident he is past this.
Good news. Big picture question for you. Now that camp is nearing its end, there's many skeptics in the media and fans as well who are not very high on your Rockies this year. Having been around this team and seeing how it's come together now and seeing a couple of pretty important injuries as well, how do you feel about this team right now, and how would you answer skeptics who see the Rockies as a 4th or 5th place team?
Well, I think that what's great about our game is people talking about teams, about seasons. I think that's fine. I think all the talk is such where I think it shows a passion for our game. It shows interest, and it shows that people are watching. I answer it by saying, I'll say this, when the season starts on Thursday, all those questions will be answered along the way, all the way to October. So I'm not one for predictions, but as far as the makeup of this team, the guys, the character, the work ethic, the desire, the will, all those things are in place. I think it has been said that a lot of talk inside the walls of the clubhouse. I'll share very little of it, of what we're talking about. I think a few players have commented on some of these projections, and we're willing to take on the season and see where it goes. I mean, again, I don't get into arguments or debates with people who prognosticate, but that's why we play it's why we play a season. That's why we play the games, to find out. And I'm looking forward to playing those games in a lot of ways to show that we're a better group than some people think.
And one more follow-up for you, buddy. You made it very clear at the beginning of camp that one of the things that you needed to improve was your offense. No secret there.
Right.
Having seen through most of camp the emergence of C.J. Cron, a healthy Chris Owings, etc., how do you feel about the offense at this point after spending the better part of 5 weeks?
Well, again, I think there's been a collective effort amongst the group to improve on a few things that will help our offense. We have some guys with limited service time, less than 3 years with a number of our players. That was the benefit of CJ signing with us, getting Owens back. They have some service time to go along with Trevor and Chuck. But a lot of these guys, haven't, proven it consistently that the performance is going to be there. So I think that's something that's motivating a lot of our players. And you know who those guys are. We've talked about them before. I don't need to name them again. But I do think that as a group, I see some better signs from a number of our players that indicate that over the long haul we have a chance to be better than we were last year. And I think even the 19 season we fell a little short of our expectation offensively as well. So we're all looking to turn that around.
Anything else for everybody this morning?
Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
Go back to Thomas really quick to finish up. Thomas?
Yeah, real quick. Where does Carlos Estevez stand at this point? What are you doing with him right now to get him on track?
Well, he's working on a few things as far as, I don't want to say pitch design, but some strategic things that we think will help him this season. That has maybe differed a little bit from how he pitched in the past, and it's been a process through the spring training. But with Carlos, we have to go a little bit by track record of a couple different seasons and a couple different logs of games where we've seen him really good. I mean, he's got big league stuff. He's got what it takes, I think, to pitch in the back end of a bullpen. The spring training results here in 7 or 8 appearances has been spotty for sure. But these things have a way of turning it around once the season starts. I think we've all seen that, where guys have statistically poor springs, and then once the season starts, they have good seasons. And that works for both. That works for both hitters and position players. You can go across the industry and look at certain position players and look at their stats, and you can probably ask that same question to position players, and you can ask it to pitchers if they've had poor springs. But again, I think you rely on the person, you rely on some history, and if there is something that a hitter's trying to do in spring training, as far as whether it's mechanics, pitch selection, pitch location, with a hitter, maybe something mechanically or a different approach. It might not all come together in a spring training. It might take a little bit of time during the regular season to manifest itself.
Yeah, so is he maybe a little bit more intense away from the games? In other words, when you space out his appearances, is he kind of going live pitching more than maybe a guy who's getting into every other game or every third game?
Not quite sure I understand the question, but
Okay.
I don't know how to answer it because I don't understand the question, Thomas.
Okay. So in other words, in between his appearances, is he going full speed in like facing hitters with you?
No.
guys
The only hitters he's facing is in game situations,
Okay.
in competition, in these exhibition games.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much, buddy.
Okay, Thomas.
Patrick, did you have a follow-up as well?
I do. Buddy, one for me. I got to admit, one of the players that I just love watching on a personal level is Josh Fuentes, because the exuberance, I think, is a good word.
No doubt.
How he plays.
Can't
I
agree with you more. He's fun to watch. He loves playing. He really does. He has great joy.
And I'm wondering, I know that, if he doesn't hit during the regular season, doesn't get on base, doesn't play well, I guess it's a moot point. But do you think Josh's personality, his exuberance, etc., can you describe how good that is, how important that is for this young team?
It's great to have those types of players, on a team, because it's, when guys look at him, I think you feel good about, where we are and what we're doing, because he has great joy to play. And on the other hand, he's intense at the same time, but his style of play, to your point, is fun to watch, right? Because it's a sort of an up tempo way to play. He's got energy in the dugout. He's got energy pregame, in the batting cage. Behind the scenes, you see the same sort of player that you see on the field. And, I think with Josh, he's never, taken this game for granted. He's had to work awful hard probably at every level that he's been at, even going back to an amateur player. But those are really good, stories to watch when, players make something out of themselves. And, there's a strong will to him that, has got him this far and is going to continue to help his career. It really is. Just the way he is as a human being.
Do you think that the departure of his cousin is allowed him to blossom a little bit?
Maybe. Probably better question for him. But, I think with, when those types of situations happen, you know, a lot of guys, you know, view this as an opportunity and sort of grasp it and sort of embrace that opportunity that's put in front of them to become a part of a team. And I think we're seeing that with a number of players.
Great, thank you, buddy.
Okay, guys.
All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate
Yep.
it.